Hello and welcome to another tutorial from CamiPaige Boutique. I'm Brooke Tannehill and today I'm going to show you how I made this striped Pilsner tumbler using glitter and mica pigments for St. Patrick's Day. I'm a huge fan of St. Patrick's Day because it is a time where I get to celebrate my Irish heritage and spend time with great friends and family. But I also love how this cup turned out and I can't wait to share it with you. As always, all the products I use will be listed in the description below, and you may even find a coupon code or two that saves you some coin. Also, come join our exclusive Facebook group where you can take advantage of upcoming freebies and giveaways that you aren't going to want to miss. So without further hesitation, let's go ahead and get started. For this design, I am using a 30-ounce Pilsner, and this is from Parrish Tumblers. However, I just found out that these are discontinued, so I apologize. But I just love the shape of this cup. But what I did is I fully prepped and sanded my cup, added a base layer of white paint from Miss Lillian's No Wax Chock paint. It is actually called Bright White, and I let that fully dry for about maybe 20 minutes before I moved into this step. But what I'm doing at the below on the screen is I am just mixing Jaded from Unicorn Dust Micas, and let me tell you, this is the most beautiful dark green pigment that's out there, or mica powder. I never know what to call them, but I'm mixing it into Mod Podge, and I think this is the coolest little trick. It didn't work for this design, but I still think that it's a great tool to have in your repertoire on cup making because it would work in certain instances. But what I'm doing is I'm just taking the Mod Podge and mica mix and doing the stripes around like the little striped area that you see there, and then filling it in. Now you can see I'm just not getting great coverage, so I'm going to show you how I fixed that. But I did want to share this just because it was a learning experience, and I wanted you guys to see kind of not my mistakes, but my trial and errors for this design on this cup. So you can see I added the gold up there too, and it just did not work with the Mod Podge and mica pigments. But what I did is I let that Mod Podge fully dry, and then I taped off the top and bottom of this area, and I mixed the micas into epoxy. This worked so much better. The coverage was beautiful, and it just really gave me the look I wanted. But here what I am using is, this is a mixture of Fool's Gold, which is a glitzy gold, and Desert Sun from Unicorn Dust Micas, and it really gave me this like coppery, beautiful gold color that I was going for. And I am just using a gloved finger to kind of smooth that out over the cup. Then I did the exact same thing with that Jaded that we used in the previous clip, mixed it into epoxy and really covered that whole like bottom green area. And it just came out so beautiful. I love kind of like the dimension and the texture that it added. So 10 out of 10, recommend this method over Mod Podge, but just wanted to show you both. Also, I highly recommend don't accidentally drop alcohol on your gold section of your cup while it's turning. I did that, and I believe you'll be able to see it in a couple clips later, but I'll show you how I fixed that later. But I let this dry for probably about an hour or 2 hours because I used Artistry's thick viscosity 1:1 fast set, so it dries super fast. And then we moved into the next steps. Now, torching's optional. I just did it kind of out of habit, but I really didn't need it. But the next steps we did on a live, and I'm just kind of talking through the different like kind of steps that I had taken to get to this point. And then we're going to start with glittering the top and bottom of this cup for the next design elements. Now, I really wanted to like this purple tape that you see here. It is like the delicate surface from Scotch. It's just another painter's tape, but I honestly like the blue better. It gives me more kind of, not bendability, but movement to it. This was just very rigid, which I can see would have benefits, but for doing stripes on tumblers, I just didn't like it. But what I'm doing here is I am just taping off the top and bottom to create a nice edge for when I add the glitter. This is just an extra step. You don't have to do it if you're confident that you'll get the straight lines, but I just wanted this as a guide. And then I grabbed Miss Lillian's No Wax Chock paint, and I am doing base seasoning. It's this awesome orange, and I'm just adding it to the butt of the cup and that bottom stripe for the glitter that we'll be laying down. I love this paint. It actually gives me amazing coverage, and it dries so quickly that I can simply go through the whole, like all the steps of the cup very fast. So the theme of this night that you see here on this live is actually don't get up from my seat tumbler making. And these chalk paints really allow for that because they dry fast, they don't leave streaks, and they just have amazing coverage. So after I was done with the orange, I grabbed grabbed my my Kelly green, and I painted the top. And again, I just use these cheap makeup brushes from Wet n Wild. They have them at Walmart and Walgreens, but I will list links to Amazon because I found them there. And I think they're either the same price or just the tiniest bit more expensive. But I really like using these makeup brushes on the tumblers because I get awesome even coverage with the paint. So find those below. But I'm just applying the Kelly green, and this is going to be the base for the 2 glitters that we will be adding to this cup. After I get the first coats on, I do grab my heat gun just to speed this up a little bit. But even without the heat gun, this stuff fully dries in under 30 minutes. So I really like it. But this just sped up the process since I was on a live. It's absolutely not necessary, but I'm just going quickly back and forth on the lowest setting of my heat gun to dry that before we move into the next coat. Here, I'm just grabbing the Kelly green again and just giving it a nice second coat because the green glitter that we'll be using on the top here has a lot of opal in it. So I wanted to make sure that I have a nice green base laid down without streaks, just great coverage before we apply those glitters. And since I had done it with the green, I decided just to go ahead and do it with the orange, even though the glitter that we're using for the orange has a lot of metallic glitter in there. So there's just wonderful coverage. After that second coat was dry, I grabbed glitter glue from Artistry Epoxy. And I have to tell you, I was super apprehensive about using this because I thought this is just going to be another Mod Podge replacement. It's not going to get great coverage. And I have to say that I am a 100% firm believer in this product now. Like before this, I would use the epoxy method every chance I got. I wouldn't use Mod Podge unless I absolutely have to. But I have now fully switched over to using this product because I love it so much. And I hope you know I'm not just saying that because I'm endorsed or I work with Artistry, but I just really love this coverage, and it's an amazing sealer as well. But all I'm doing is I'm coming in and adding the glitter over the top. And I will also link below the brush that I used to apply the glitter glue because I think it works excellently. I don't know if that's a word or not, but it works great, and I really like it for applying the glitter glue over the tumbler. The glitter that we're using there, and I'm sorry I didn't call it out, is Irish Cream. It is a beautiful green custom mix from Boujie Glitter Boutique. It was actually mixed by yours truly, so I'm a little biased, but it's an amazing green that you'll have to go check out. But then I am also just moving into the bottom section of the cup and applying that glitter glue over the butt and over the sides to get some great even coverage over this section of the cup. Now, I will tell you, you don't want to stretch out the glitter glue. Like you'll be able to see when you're getting it too thin because you'll kind of get little almost bare spots. Make sure that you're applying a nice even coat. Don't go skimpy on it because it's going to affect your glitter coverage. But if you just do that, it's just absolutely wonderful. It dries in about an hour, so you're not waiting too long for it. And it's just amazing for applying glitter. The color orange that we are using here is actually called Shenanigans, and this is another glitter mix from Boujie Glitter Boutique that was mixed by yours truly. And I just love this orange because it can go orange with an orange underbase, or it can even pull more coral because there's definitely some opal colors in there. I just love it, so you'll definitely have to check it out. But I am just applying the glitter over the bottom orange section, and with this cup, it only needed one coat. I did not have to come back and do a second coat of glitter because the glitter glue covered so well, and because we have the paint underneath that really pulled the bright colors. And then I just immediately pull the tape after we're done, and you can see how beautiful those two colors are with the whole color scheme. And I'm sorry for my weird face right there. Now, I had originally planned to do leopard print foil in this middle section, and that is why I didn't glitter it when I did the other two areas. And one thing I do want to call out is I let those glitters dry completely, like the glitter glue dry completely. Then I sealed it with glitter glue, let that dry for about an hour, and now I'm moving on to this step. So again, you can see here that I tried to give that purple tape a try, but I'm a blue tape fan. I didn't want to be because the purple's so pretty, but I like the blue. And what I'm doing here, you can see, is that this is a tapered cup. It does not have a flat surface. So to get a straight line, I had to just apply kind of little bands of tape and then rip them off and then start another one to get it to go around in a straight line around the surface. And I hope that makes sense, because it's just tapered right there. But then here I grabbed Miss Lillian's Chocolate Kiss, and I am just applying it to the center of the cup. Now we will be applying gold glitter over this, but I just really like the way gold reflects over a brown base. So that's why I chose this color. I do have other like gold metallics, but I just thought this was really, really beautiful. And I couldn't believe how well this brown covered over the white base. It was just awesome. I let that brown paint dry, which is Chocolate Kiss, for about maybe 20 minutes. And then I am grabbing my glitter glue again from Artistry. Now, I did not need a second coat with that brown paint. It covered so well. So I'm just letting you know now. And so that way, that's the reason why I moved right into the glitter glue. But you can see now that like this is a better angle, like how I'm applying that glitter glue. I'm not skimping. It's a nice like even layer. So that's why I like using the flat tip brushes, and it's just giving me great coverage that you can see is very evenly spread around the surface of the cup. So once that was applied, I am grabbing Pirate's Booty from Boujie Glitter Boutique, and I'm applying it in that middle section right there. And again, this did not need 2 coats of glitter. It covered so well, I could get away with 1. And I let that dry for about an hour, and then I sealed this cup, and I moved into 1 coat of Artistry's 1-to-1 thick coat epoxy. And then we were ready to move into the next step, which is obviously brushing off the excess glitter so that you don't get contamination. No, sorry, I included this, but I did want to make sure that you guys did take a step to brush off any excess glitter, because it can cause some wonkiness with your different micas that you've laid down and everything else. So you can see here my little alcohol mishap, and I'm not trying to hide it at all, but you can see what happens when you drop alcohol on top of epoxy mixed with micas. But what I'm doing here is I'm showing you how I am striping the cup. So I chose to do a double layer stripe. So I did a dark green glittered vinyl, and then came in with more of like the copper or goldish copper textured vinyl from Cricut. But I cut this at a 1/12 of an inch, and my husband tells me that that's not an actual measurement, but I divided 1 by 12 and whatever that fraction was, and then by 11 inches wide on my Cricut. And then I came in and I halved that, so 1/6 of an inch, which I'm told is also not a measurement, and put that into Design Space, and I cut these 11 inches wide. And I just liked how they were very nicely, they weren't too big, because sometimes I feel like stripes can get too big and it really takes away from the design, but it was just enough to really blend the 2 places where the different colors met. So I just take my time, making sure to keep the vinyl taut or like tight so that it doesn't move or walk on you. And then I just gently push down the vinyl with my finger as I lay it down so that it doesn't have any movement as you work around the cup. And then once the 2 pieces meet, I just use my craft knife or my X-Acto knife, push down and get a nice even seam that kind of disappears when you do that. But also, because I did do 2 layers of vinyl, I did want to seal my stripes before moving into epoxy. So this is just polyacrylic in my old CC DIY quick coat bottle. I ran out and I just liked the way this bottle worked, so reuse, you know? But I am just applying the polyacrylic just to the stripes, making sure that it's nice and coated before moving into epoxy, and then that was it. But I did make sure to let this dry for a good probably 2 hours before moving into epoxy, because if you do not let polyacrylic or the other polys out there fully dry, it will cause your epoxy to get milky, and nobody wants that, especially when you work so hard on your beautiful creations to have something like that happen. I did do 1 coat of Artistry's 1-to-1 fast set, like the thick viscosity, and let that dry for about probably 3 hours. And then I cut out 2 different color vinyl shamrocks or 4-leaf clovers, and I applied them on that same gold color vinyl, like the textured vinyl from Cricut. So you can see there I did a lighter green, and here I'm doing a darker green. And I have to tell you that the only reason why I was able to get these decals as big as they are on this more of a tapered surface is because the shamrock has so many different like leaves to it that can as easily bend. So on this Pilsner, you do want to be careful with how you apply them. But after that, I just sanded any areas that were kind of rough and moved into my final coat of Artistry's 1-to-1 fast set. I used about 30 milliliters, and this baby was done. I love that this cup gives off such pretty St. Patrick's Day vibes and is the perfect vessel for green beer. I hope this tutorial inspires you, and I can't wait to see what you create. If you have any questions about any of the steps or information shared, please feel free to reach out and I will be more than happy to help. As always, thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me. If you like this tutorial, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see future videos. You could also ring the bell so you're notified of all future cup making goodies. Thank you again. I love you guys. Erin Gobra. Bye.